All right, Mr. President, we have our marching orders, so yeah, I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. So the year, okay, it's a bit of an anachronism, I get it, but work with me a little bit, all right? The year is 1956. Mankind stands at the dawn of a new age, the space age, when the flying bombs of yesteryear will become the rocket ships of the race for tomorrow. As the director of a national space program, your country is depending on you for success in this great contest. You may be the first to create an artificial satellite, send a probe to another planet, or even put a man on the moon. Leaving Earth is a game about planning and managing risk. With even a single grand journey into outer space, you might claim victory. Therefore, it is your job to plan each journey carefully, finding the cheapest, quickest, and safest ways to reach your objective. But do not spend too long preparing, or another nation might get there before you. All right, so leaving Earth. Obviously, it is a multiplayer game. Today we are playing it solo. It does play solo. Instead of a full teach, as I want to do with all of these solo games, I am going to give a pretty extensive overview as well as a rough idea of the components and everything, and then we're going to just dive in and get into it. So big picture, what we're doing here. The game takes place over 20 years. So as you can see, 10 of the years are here. We'll flip this over and then we'll continue for 10 more years. So the game will take place over 20 years, starting in 1956 and ending in 1975, because math. 1976, okay, fine, whatever. The goal of the game is going to be based upon our missions as they are randomly drawn. Now, in a solo game, we're going to actually try the hard mission as the rules recommend, which is going to be some mix of all three of these missions. The goal is going to be to accumulate it over 50% of the victory points that are on those three missions. They could be something along the lines of getting samples from Venus or from Mars or from Moon and bringing them back, discovering life on other planets, putting a man in on Mars or on Venus, on the Moon, etc. They're going to run the gamut here, and we'll discover those once we get started, okay? All right, so we are NASA, because, you know, kind of makes sense. So what is it you guys are looking at here? So we have our 4 potential spaceships that we may be creating here, but the actual game board is actually set up by these cards out here. We have Earth, as you can see here. Then we have various other ones. Suborbital flight, we have Moon, we have Venus, we have Phobos, we have Mars, we have Ceres, and then other places out here. We're going to be then gathering up various rockets that we have to research, as well as various probes and capsules, as well as possibly including various astronauts along with supplies to go out, handle missions, and possibly, hopefully, come back to Earth safely. However, we're going to have to research all of the rockets and thrusters that we may have throughout the game, as well as a lot of the main actions that are in the game. Space is hard and risky and dangerous, and so this outcome deck, which is pretty extensive, as you can see here. There are 3 outcomes in this deck. There are successes, minor failures, and major catastrophic failures. We will probably see all of those as we go along because, again, getting into space is hard. So what we're going to be doing, oops, I moved things around. What we are going to be doing, we're going to be using this little chart over here to factor in building up our spaceships and then factoring thrust vector, or not vectors, but thrust and payload weight to be able to then be able to move our mission from Earth out to these various places. We're going to be creating our spaceships with various rocket boosters, with various probes and capsules, and possibly with astronauts to go out and do that depending on what the missions are. Now, we do have a budget. This is the one only game that I can think of in which we're going to use the paper money because it's thematic and we don't actually use a whole lot of the money as we go along. So we start the game with 25 bucks or 25 million. So let's go ahead and get that set up. That's what we're starting with here. And as you can see, we have the inset camera set up over here to make things a little bit easier for us, okay? And yes, Omer, the chart will definitely come in handy, all right? As well as, and I'll leave this up to you guys if you want me to use it, I printed out this handy dandy little mission plan that we can use if we so desire to actually work out all of our missions as we go along. All right, so the solo mission says we should have a hard game, which is going to be 3 easy, 3 medium, and 2 hard. So let's go ahead and get into that to start. So I'm going to shuffle these up as best we can. We're going to get 3 easy. But those are out of the game at this point. The mediums will shuffle up. Oops. And bacon, Eric. Don't forget bacon. 1, 2, 3. And what did I say? I said 2 hards, correct? I believe so. So we'll get that. So there was no pre-planning in this. So you guys, there's going to be bouts of silence as we go through this. So let's go ahead and move that out of the way and our money out of the way temporarily, and let's see what we got. So we're starting with the easy ones. We need to put a man in orbit. That's going to be worth 4 victory points. And man to Earth orbit and back. Okay, that's one goal. All right. We have to do a lunar survey, which is worth 4 victory points as well. Reveal the moon location. So if you notice here, it shows that it's unexplored. So that's one mission. The final easy one is going to be a Mars survey, which is reveal the Mars location, which is going to be worth 5 points. Again, unexplored. Now, the game comes with multiple of each of these unexplored, and legitimately, I didn't look at any of these, so we're going to find out together what these are. The medium missions are man on the moon and back, just as President Kennedy dictated to us. So, okay, all right. Worth 12 points. A Phobos sample return. So what does that mean? That means we need to get to Phobos, which is going to be up here, grab a sample, which is going to be there, and bring it back to Earth, also worth 12 points. And the final medium mission is working probe or capsule on Ceres, out here, also unexplored. Boy, this is going to be a tough one. Then the hard ones. Oh, extraterrestrial life. Sample of extraterrestrial life brought to Earth. We have no idea if it's going to be out there. So it's worth 40 points, but oof. All right, and the last one is man on the moon at the start of a year. So we need a lunar station, which kind of works with man on the moon here. Now, I'm going to be using my calculator a fair bit on this during this playthrough today. So you guys will have to bear with me while I do so. So let's see, what do we have point total here? So we have 55, 63, 75, 87. 87 and 5 is 90. Is that 100? Is that dead on 100? Let me check my math. 8 plus 5 plus 24 plus 8 plus 55. That'll be 100 points dead on. So that means we need 51 points to be able to win the game. Well, if we find life, that'd be great. That'd be nice and easy because that's almost half of it right there. But realistically, with 51 points, I'm thinking we get man on the moon and back at the start of a year right here. So, okay. So that's going to be 27 of it. So I like that. Well, we got to land on the moon, so we're going to have to reveal the location. So there's 31 of it. 31, 39, okay. Man to Earth orbit and back. Well, if we do the rest of it, that'll take care of that. So let's kind of move these off real quick. So we need, here, this is a better way to do this, I think. Can you guys, nope. There we go. So we have that and that there. So we're looking at 27, 31, 35. We need 16 between all of these. Well, you know, if that's possible. I don't know if it is. Oof, that's really tough. That means we're going to have to go to 27, 31, 35. So we're going to have to go to Phobos as well. Yeah, no Mercury in this one. I chose to take Mercury out of this. So there's that. Then we have to do one of those as well. You know what? I think that makes the most sense. So I think those are the ones we're going to go for. Obviously, things will change if we find extraterrestrial life. That'd be great, but who knows if we'll actually see it. So what we're going to do is I'll put the two that we're less likely to go after up here. And then we'll put the 3 moon ones up here. And let's see, man to Earth orbit and back, there's that. And then Mars and Phobos. This is going to be a tough one. We have 20 years to do all of this. All right, so there we go. That is our goals in life. Okay. So now that we need 51 points, we've figured that out already. All right. So now let's go and move this back over here. There, and our 25 bucks to start. All right. So I watched a couple of playthroughs. Now I've only played this essentially twice. All right, so I am far from an expert on this, guys. But have a handy dandy little player aid. Make sure I don't forget any steps. Plus, let's face it, Peanut Gallery, your guys' job is to make sure I don't forget any things. All right, so start of the year for turn 1. We get 25 million. All right. Then no start of the year missions, so nothing completed there. Then we don't have to worry about turn order. So research advancement. All right, so we have the various researches. To be able to get off of Earth, we need rockets. Now, there are 5 different types of rockets/thrusters available in this game. As we go along, we're going to want to test these rockets, hopefully without any humans on board, because they're likely to explode, because, again, this stuff is hard. So we're going to have to research these as well as the various things that we need to do. So I think the early goals that we should be doing is we're going to be researching some number of these rockets. But let's try and be efficient on our timing of this. So what is it we want to do? So obviously we want to get a man to the moon, have him stay there at the begin for a year, essentially, at the beginning of a turn, and then travel back home. Okay. We need to reveal the moon location, which might not be a bad idea to probe the moon before we send any men on it, because it's possible things might not do well there. We also need to have a man in orbit here and come back, and we can only explore this location with a manned spaceship. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it.